Gosh, I hope this gets recorded correctly. Also, for some reason, I feel like the game sounds a bit lower, but at this point, I'm already in it, so I don't actually need to set those settings. But we get Goizo, Kira's birthmark, and we're doing at least 2 runs, and then that will be the, what I should have done on stream, I did not, which makes me really sad. Again, the past 6 to 12 hours were wild, so as we move on with life, yeah, we are dealing with custom items, so... yeah, and for those who don't know at all what's going on, this is because of a plugin that now that at least currently exists on Nexus Mods. And that's all I have to say at the moment, as we get into Goizo Kira's birthmark. So yeah, Nexus Mods, it's a very specific plugin, you'll know what it is, because it'll also have come out from this, something else would have come out from the same modder, who... came out with a bunch of items. In this case, it's an umbrella. Did I also give a pitchfork? I did, didn't I? Well, for now, we're going to stick with the umbrella. Although, we'll take a quick look at this pitchfork and maybe throw it. Second mystery, charisma, Takushi-san, dexterity, strength, and maybe a second encounter check. I never remember my second encounter check. Well, I'm not going to say never, but it's a very low chance I remember it. And off we go. So, this is the umbrella is a sharp dexterity-based weapon. And prevents drenched whenever, if that were to proc, I assume. And if I get drenched, well, we have more bugs to smooth out. I say we, but it's not really we. But I mean that as a collective community. Because we have a lot of people who like making custom content for World of Horror. Or who want to, which, yeah, is good too. Nails, Botanist, Akamanto, Phantasms, and Nightclub. And you know what? It's been a while since we did Nightclub, so we'll stick with that. But we do still have at least 2 boss mysteries. And Phantasms can be a whole load of pain. So, we'll go from Botanist to Nails to Akamanto, I think is the plan. This character has a lot... Is that 15 knowledge, by the way? If so, I would have liked to pick up a knowledge weapon. But we're using an umbrella, and that's our soft rule, soft house rule for this run, at least. Which we're trying to just keep the umbrella equipped the whole time. And thankfully, our dexterity isn't terribly low, so we can afford to kind of just use this weapon. But yeah, as for anything else, well, we'll find out. So... low threat level downtown, high threat level hospital, max threat level forest, and max threat level school. Let me just remember Nails, Akamanto, and Botanist. So we do have some school investigations to go through. But we're in Botanist right now, so we need to set the police patrol stuff for. It's been a while since I've had a run where it's a lot more worth it to. Just making sure I know what I'm going to store, because I'd rather carry the handcuffs with me for the moment. Where you switch basically where the police patrols are at in the middle of a run. Now, whether or not I'll remember to do that, well, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just some small min-maxing. Not that you need to do that for World of Horror, even on Harbinger difficulty, but every little bit helps, right? Also, 3 strength is not great, but I think that's the stat we're probably going to focus on, along with dexterity. If you can get dexterity at 8 for the sake of the lighthouse, cool. But we'll check our thresholds, because obviously the umbrella is a new item / weapon that I can use, so I don't exactly know what the brace thresholds are. And by that, I mean, can I brace into an attack comfortably? Not really. So, it's an okay weapon, as it is right now. The general rule, essentially, for anyone, whether you're a modder or a player, and you're trying to balance your weapon, I guess, is that, oh my goodness, is that a weapon that can do about... 8 damage a turn reliably in some way, shape, or fashion is usually okay. It depends on the situation, but for the most part, it is relatively okay, as we get a toward muscle here, to have a weapon that either does 4 damage twice somewhat reliably around that ballpark, and anything better than that, your weapon starts to become a lot better. Whether you can get an attack into a 90% attack, or you just do a prep into a strong that does 9 damage, which is arguably better. I think it's better, but it can be argued, and yeah, we have to deal with some unfortunate stuff right here. This is a 25 HP encounter, by the way, so even if we did 8 damage, that's why 8 damage is kind of the threshold, because as you can see, I can either throw a weapon, I could try to go for a dodge, but taking really -2 to -3 all is kind of when a weapon kind of has to show its worth. So, now that being said, 85 speed? Prevents drenched, and that is a small plus, because getting drenched doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen, and it would be bad when it happens. But as we're here now, especially since we're on Goizo, right? So Goizo also adds into the, well, if it's not worth it, if your weapon can't one-shot or reliably two-shot with maybe a brace for the first turn, then you just end up running away, because taking damage is a lot more costlier to rest and heal for than just running away. Keeping in mind we have 15 knowledge, so if I see a knowledge choice in an event, then I take it. Keeping in mind we also take an extra bit of doom here. I wonder, oh, that came from preparing. But if I bought a weapon, I'd be at like 32% doom by the end of this, so all things considered, it's a lot better. I mean, keeping in mind that I have started runs without even investigating once at 20 to 24% doom, so this is pretty much par for the course. In fact, it's even better. I would say it's close to a birdie. But let's see here. So, bottle of water, refill that up. Glug glug, more stamina, and off we go. So I said nails into Akamanto. Let me just confirm that. So yeah, Phantasms and Nightclub, I think, are 4th and 5th respectively. That's my plan. Now, because we have Akamanto, though, we do want to defeat this boss without using the handcuffs, because I only have one pair. So, whether or not we're going to be able to do that, and yeah, now we switch the police patrols to the school, because now we're going to be visiting the school quite a lot, so that will save us on Doom. For the Doom use, basically, simple math is whatever Doom you spend going into the police station, if you can save more Doom from lowering a max threat level location down, however many times you investigate that location is what you subtract from the Doom that's increased. And if you're if that final value is negative, then cool, you save some Doom. If it's not negative, yeah, that would be really weird, because then that would be like, hey, I'm going to put the police patrols in the hospital, and then you have botanist and footage back to back, where it's all just forced investigations. Maybe there's one hospital investigation, but still, that would not be worth switching the police patrols, unless you were going to switch it to the forest. But considerations. Otherwise, I don't even know how much luck this character has. We do get to level up. I don't know what perk packs this character has either, but since I see dexterity and I can grab some strength, so be it. So I think whatever we fought last, and I'm gonna take a peek through the log. Shiro-san was our second encounter, it seems like. I don't think I fought anything else. I don't think I fought two things before Shiro-san, so I'm gonna assume that's the case. I distinctly remember I fought something before Shiro-san. I remember because it was an all encounter in which I was talking about, oh yeah, look at the damage. Also, I never got rid of the torn muscle, which is not good. So, we're going to find out what I'm willing to lose here. We can't brace though, so we got to make do with what we've got. That being said, keep in mind, I think we have 7 damage on a Desperate Prep normal attack. So, keeping that in mind, he does double damage? Well, pain. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, we'll do 3 runs this video then, because that was unexpected. Ill-fated Katarufu. Ill-fated Katarufu. Ill-fated Katarufu. And let me at least remember the backstory. Ill-fated Katarufu. And off we go. So, Ill-fated Katarufu. Random item stats, 3 custom mysteries, a whole lot of pain. So, as we get into our next run, like, I wasn't going crazy, right? I still had, like, at least 5 to 6 stamina. I don't even remember the exact value. This is pretty bad. But we'll do another umbrella run. Maybe things are better this time. So, Takushi-san, Charisma. Did that make a different noise when I equipped it? Charisma, Light to check, Knowledge, Strength, and maybe a second encounter. But really, we're taking about 3 stamina and 5 reason. Because 15 knowledge, it's if I somehow lose so much knowledge that we go down to 7, I probably already lost the run. But we could also, funny enough, go for an ally attack run, even though we have an umbrella equipped. So basically the umbrella would be for show or for ghost encounters. But that's not such a bad thing. I don't know if this character has fame though. I know there's only one other perk pack they could have, and obviously I could just check the Ito file, but Festival Ward, Postal, Rental, and Cult. Huh. Well, we are fighting quite a bit of enemies. I guess we take either Rental or Postal now, because I need to enter the town to get allies if I want allies. That being said, it is costing a bit of Doom, so maybe I'm just going to swerve instead. I know we have Festival, but I'm just feeling like we're going to take a bit more Doom. So, with that said, and yeah, I'm kind of just going against this character's gameplay design, because we have 15 knowledge, and that would be very, 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 very good for a knowledge weapon. It's not the end-all be-all, but boy, are you a lot faster. So, we're ill-fated, so we just gotta take the least amount of damage we can. Not that I remember any of the mystery events in Postal, but we can make do with what we've got. Now, hopefully I don't just accidentally choose the wrong choice when I don't know an event 5 times in a row and lose like 10 stamina, but that's not up to me when I don't remember. It's up to RNG, really. And yes, some preparation, it is kind of my fault. Oh no, 15, no, so that's the other half of Ill-Fated, in which, yeah, you have like 12 to 15 in a stat, but it rolls a 99 for you, and so you just cry. Also, is it just me, or is it supposed to say when Doom increases? Is it supposed to say plus value percent Doom or just plus value Doom? Now I'm doubting my own eyesight. But we're not really casting spells, so that's not going to do much for us. But I see that we have Akamanto's mask on, even though we don't have Akamanto's mask on. I'm assuming maybe the Cursed Signs graphic got mixed up. But anywho, I did not do 2 attack boosts, and I paid for it. So, I guess we'll just throw a Hail Mary and do a dodge. So, off we go. We do get a guaranteed attack. Now, do we dodge? Yes. So, hey, all's fair in love and trying to get RNG to work correctly. Although we're rolling on a 95%, it's not over yet. It's not over. Also, I'm just looking at a thing, and so now I'm getting a little bit sad. But it's fine. So, pretend we're not home and take 5 Doom. Also because, yeah, we have a weapon, so we're not so sad. Although we just took hallucinations for that, but it's not like we're using a perception weapon anyway. And in fact, we'd be using a knowledge weapon. In fact, even with 2 stacks, like if we had -4 knowledge to 15 knowledge, we'd still be able to use a small candle and or ritual dagger efficiently. That's what I'm trying to say. So, rental could go next, but also, you know what I didn't? Oh, we do have to take rental next because I never got the, we never got the thingy. And that cut was because someone was nice enough to give me something. So, let's see here. I guess I'll just take Predestined. So, this character has, Predestined and the Unrelenting, but also something else. Definitely not Fame, that's what I'm trying to say. For the sake of dexterity, even though, yes, it would be nice to increase dexterity, we're just going to instead increase strength, and the game also clicked something else behind me. Again, that is a small little bug. I forgot I was on Ill-Fated. But it's fine for the moment. So, you know what? I'm actually going to Witch Tree, because we can pick up Painkillers. Oh, that's not a good curse to get. Just in case those who don't know. Chance of losing stamina each time you lose reason. That's no good at all. But we'll make do with what we've got. We'll take care of this broken nose, because maybe I need to rest, but otherwise, off we go. Also, we need to use the police station. So, yeah, off we go. But otherwise, 2 more runs in us, and I'm gonna do my best to survive. Now, are we actually gonna survive is a different question. Chances are we actually just lose on the 3rd mystery if really, 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 really unfortunate things happen on top of the enemies that we have to fight, but we'll find out. So run, because we're ill-fated. We can't pass any checks, which is really, really bad. You know what? I might just end up playing this character again in a separate video, but yeah, I really... Using these specific items, again, you just have to believe me when I say I just happen to just give the characters random stuff. But at the same time, what I also could have done is just switch the type of stat that the Umbrella uses. Could have made this a knowledge weapon, but obviously at that point it wouldn't be so great, because I would not be able to immerse myself as much. So, making it hard to breathe, doing some other stuff, and off we go. So, we lost the bath, but we keep other stuff. I forgot to grab the hospital pass. We could just run from Mord, really, but I would still want to get the thingamajiggy first, so I guess we're doing Cult next. That being said, the reason why I kind of forgot, not just because of the cut, is that we had to take care of other stuff in the thing. Also, it costs, I guess we sell the pitchfork. But yeah, we'll grab the hospital pass, because otherwise we're going to suffer during... I promise you, the moment you run into an enemy first, no matter, even if it's dull nurse first in Ward, but then you don't have the hospital pass, so you do a few more investigations and you're fighting double nurses, you're gonna kind of regret it. Although, that being said, in that specific instance, if you do run into the dull nurse, you should be able to get out of double nurses somewhat reliably, but they still do a lot of damage, so unless you one-shot them, you're taking, I think it's reason. I think because you're getting slapped by enemy B. Hey, but the good thing about Ill Fate is that we automatically failed that check. So, off we go. Speaking of double nurses, so yeah, 3 reason, by the way. I would like to just run from this. We are on Goizo, correct? No, Cthulhu, I'm going crazy. That was the previous run. Wow. I wasn't even gone for long. You can tell by the in-game timer. We're gonna go to the left and take 1 stamina's worth of damage. Yeah, 1 stamina's worth of damage, because we're guaranteed 10 damage a turn on a low-power enemy. So, which is very good, actually, by the way. Let me state that at least the good parts of using the umbrella, even with 5 dexterity. Yeah, being able to reliably, usually 2-shot, low value, low HP enemies is quite good. And we do want to skip this boss, because otherwise, sad things are going to happen to our face. So, off we go. I said I was going to do 3 runs. Am I going to do 3 runs? Because I'm looking at a thing. Maybe I make another cut. Yeah, I'm probably going to make another cut for the sake of the gift that I was given. So, yeah, just making sure. I did get the hospital pass. Otherwise, I could take Fear Festival now and just run from the boss of Ward. Like, our Doom is doing really well. I should just rush through this run. There's not really much else to see here. Unless I get a lot of bad luck, but that's a different story. So, we can grab the Hermit, and then we can grab no one else. Like, there are very specific allies that you want to pick up generally. Even the Hermit, you can choose not to pick up. It's just that when their presence is needed and you can, you know, let them go and decrease Doom, it's quite nice. But otherwise, I mean, it's more like a vanity pick at this point. So as we move on, -2 to all, haha, good joke. Let me just drill it into everyone's heads again, including my own, in that in Goizo, you do want to take care of your, I was going to say rest, but that's not the, okay, let me rephrase that. You want to run when you're taking, like, even just -2 all, you want to consider it, unless you really need the experience for some reason. For example, you need Blood Mania as Aika, a character has Fame and you're going for an ally attack run. You need Quick Thinking because you want to double stack on Dexterity because you just want to do the Lighthouse. Even small things like that, I think, are well worth the, thing. I was going crazy. I just forgot what I was talking about. Oh, this is not good. Oh my goodness, am I getting too old at my age? We're on timeline B, but it doesn't matter. We can just run. Now, that being said, we have not done Ward yet, so we are slowly getting our Doom increase. The good news is, because we have the Hospital Pass, we don't have to worry about as many investigations. But I promise you, it's gonna be very bad if we get some bad RNG down in here. Now, the good news is we won't run into double nurses, so we have to make use of any good luck we have, especially if it's a thing. We don't have funds. Usually not having funds for an event would take away reason. You can do anything you want in your own events. Maybe you trip because you're so ashamed that you run away, and so you just end up taking damage. But otherwise, yeah, usually not having enough funds for a choice results in reason loss. But otherwise, we shake her off, take reason damage, and hopefully we survive this. There's no way we lose here, right? We really don't want to rest with Goizo around. If anything, we want to make it to the Lighthouse, but guess we'll find out. We can Desperate Struggle. Do we get anything else? Yes. Kind of, no. We'll throw the branch, because we're just going to run from the boss here anyway. So this should be really 16 damage, and it is. The other side of this conversation is I don't remember my second encounters, so we're hoping that we have enough HP to survive, because we're certainly running from the boss here. So, yeah, 5 stamina damage, 32 HP, that's a chunk. I know we have the handcuffs, but I swear, I promise you it's not worth it. And off we go. So, let's take a quick look at the Lighthouse before we level up. Not that we can get Dexterity or Strength to 5, but it's about what we want to heal. So, Charisma 8, no light source, I'm pretty sure. Unless the umbrella somehow has like a flashlight within it. We have 16 knowledge, but we have 5 strength. So we should have enough stamina. Am I going crazy? We do run into Takushi-san, but I shouldn't really need to worry about that. So, in fact, I would have liked to take damage before Takushi-san, but that's not going to happen. So I guess we just throw the whole hog at Takushi-san. I know I've been using that word lately. I don't know why I'm so gung-ho on using words like hog and farm. But anyway... by the way, just a really quick piece of trivia, if you didn't know about me, I did do some farm work in my life. So, and I'm not going to elaborate further for the moment. I mean, I don't mind talking about it, but boy, oh boy. Specifically, I did I did some farm work with green peas. I know that for a fact. Now, what type of green peas, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the bat. But I do need to make a cut because I need to take care of this stuff, and then we'll do our last run. So that cut's gonna take longer than I thought because I had to treat, well, I was gifted food, and so I had to make sure the food was eaten, and so we're gonna hit quick play. We're gonna get Azal Scars. That's a different run than we've had recently, but we'll go through it. With Scars, it's not as bad, depending on if we just get 7 events back to back and fail every single one. But aside from that, we can go and finally make use of our high knowledge. So, if I can find Scars, let's get into this Azal run. So if you didn't know why Azal can provide such a problem, it's that the rules that you were given, especially with the type of run that you're doing, whether you're using a character with spells, or you just happen to get a lot of, I guess, hard mysteries just generally, Azal just doesn't make anything easier usually. Takeshi-san, Dexterity, Light, second encounter, Charisma, and maybe a second mystery check. You would be walking into, how should I say, also every single non-stat check, I'm pretty sure. Well, if you have this Explorer, every single non-stat check. But, yeah, a common example is, say you get Mind Wipe, but then you get the experience roll. Yeah, that's an example of things going a bit better. Also, I think this is a strength. No, it's a perception weapon. For some reason, I thought it was a strength weapon. That being said, when you brace with this weapon, you deal damage as well. So, if we can get a normal attack going with even just 3 strength, yeah, I guess we'll see. Otherwise, we'll have to use Nicotine Rush to do a thing as someone sneezes in the background. So, let's find out. You can hear the clickety-click of my mouse. But, Vigil, Coma, Painting, Flat, and Orphan. Well, that's an interesting bundle of joy. So, Coma's last, Vigil, and Painting are 2nd and 4th at some point. Probably in that order that I just mentioned. Otherwise, we'll take Orphan first, Flat 3rd. And then we get the item rule. So, yeah. Usually, I mean, there's a few things that are up to player choice. Primarily, this is guaranteed, right? Yeah. But, and I don't think that Doom gets refunded. But, aside from, I think, the fund rule and the item and inventory rule, you want to try and control everything else that happens. You know, the experience rule is the experience rule, so that's an exception we can talk about later, especially if we get it at some point. But otherwise, things like curses and injuries, you're not normally trying to treat them. So in a way, and I've mentioned this before, I'll say it again, you can treat Azal as a kind of pseudo Knight Errant run. And so, if you assume you're going to take, like, anywhere from 7 to 10 Doom, then it's just a harder Knight Errant, although obviously there are still differences, and it is still variable, and you do have control. Also, we have a village at max threat level. Forest at max threat level as well. I think we'll police patrol the village, funny enough, for the moment. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, we do have... we have a thing. We have Vigil into Painting. So at some point, we probably want to switch the police patrols to the forest. But for now, we can stay with Orphan for the moment. Just keeping an eye out. No, because I kept items in my inventory. Oh, I'm a fool! And that's what I mean by human error, at least. Well, I didn't mention human error, but this is human error. So, should have stored all of these items. I didn't need them, but... And off we go. So, we can probably just forget about those items in general, but you never want to just be too confident with something. We do get the fun rule, but the fun rule in specific... Well, basically, every single rule can be treated pretty much uniquely, save for things like, again, the injury and the curse rule together. To some extent, the experience rule. And as we grab the katana, we're not going to be able to equip... We're not going to equip this because we're doing a little soft roll where we have to keep the pitchfork equipped. But, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Azal rules. Basically, we'll go one... We'll talk about them as they happen. So... But the things I can talk about, again, the experience rule is a very common thing to annoy you and can just lose you the run, because if you're forced into, say, Vigil right now, but then you're about to level up, but then you don't because the events you get just don't allow you to get enough experience for whatever reason, or you run into an enemy that doesn't give you enough experience, then you just end up taking 9 Doom to the face. Now, the flip side of that is that obviously in your next mystery, when you level up, maybe your Doom will go back down to like, you'll take 4 to 5 Doom next mystery, which is why I can equate it to equate the experience roll on Azal specifically to Knight Errant, or just Azal overall. And we already know, or I can, at least if nothing else, you can believe me when I say, or you don't have to believe me, but I'm asking you to believe me when I say, we can get 4 damage a turn, but it's not worth it. We're already taking 1 stamina damage. This is also a new enemy I haven't fought yet, funny enough, but what was I talking about? Oh, goodness gracious, why have I done this to myself? I think I was talking about the Azal roll. Yeah, so, yeah, we can already survive on Knight Errant relatively fine, even with 4 to 5 endings penalizing us on Knight Errant. So anything a little bit more than that is a bit harder to deal with. Also, did I not do the ritual? I don't think I did I? No, I also stored the Vigil Pamphlet, so therefore I would be fighting the guess as we see here. Now, we're only taking 1 reason damage, but actually, I think I can get more. No, I can't. Well, hey, 70%. Gamble. Yeah. But as we exit this mystery, we'll take Unrelenting. We could double up on Charisma, but nah. And let's see if we can get our strength up to high enough to be able to brace with the Pitchfork. I don't think so. The main issue with slower weapons that don't use strength is that you basically get less bang per buck when you have to build into another stat because of a weapon, but then you want to build strength for bracing, basically. So that's kind of the, not Schrodinger's cat, or not even the contradiction with Pitchfork. That's just the truth of the matter. I'm sure it being a perception weapon is lore accurate. I almost said immersive. Lore accurate, but yeah, that's just the truth of the matter. Also, we took 12 Doom because I kept things and funds, so all I did was hurt myself. Funny enough, 40% Doom right here is still okay, but now we're just going to visit the monument. Ask me for funds, please? No? Alright, cool story. We need to remember to store our items. I always forget to do that. We'll keep the Meat Cleaver on us in case we want to throw it, but I definitely want to keep an eye out on our funds. Yeah. Also, what did we get as our next rule? Ally, so pretty much a nothing. So yeah, allies are like the Injury and Curse rule, where you do have control over allies more so than curses and injuries, but you can kind of just usually ignore it because either you're not grabbing allies or you're running an ally attack run. Well, in that case, you're just exploding to a million pieces. But really trying to find another weapon. But you get the point. Allies you do have control over, but you don't normally want to let them go. So having an ally or two that are very, very useful depends on who the ally is. If it's Kana, you definitely keep Kana. Their damage mitigation is just too valuable, so you just take the Doom in the face for it. But otherwise, things like, if you have, say, Hermit and you can't let them go, if you have Iwa and you already have enough strength than you need, even if you end up failing a light check, maybe the Doom is going to hurt you even more. So shrug. But yeah, we're gonna switch the police station to the forest because we're about to do painting and we seem to have some forest investigations already. And we'll try our best to survive. Would have been nice. So now we're just gonna store the Meat Cleaver. We might have to fight something, but before we have to worry about that, let's toss our funds. I would have actually liked to pick up a packet of cigarettes. I didn't do that, so off we go. Wait, do we even survive this? Well, I guess we're gonna find out. So, would be nice to hit both of these. 50-50. But even if we do, we don't get much for it. And in fact, we missed 1 attack. So what we do now is definitely trade off 4 reason for 2 stamina. But after that, though, I have to figure out how I'm gonna survive this. 85%. We need to at least hit this strong. And right after that, I think we just need to go for dodges here. Yeah, we need to go for dodges here. So here's hoping for the best. And 75 into 50%. Let's go. Otherwise, it's the end of this video. Not that I'm going to cut off this video. So not only did I miss... So basically, I hit a 45% chance to miss on top of flipping a coin and calling it wrong. But hey, them's the breaks. Yes, I would have liked to use a knowledge weapon. That'll happen in a future video on a different type of, maybe during Modpack Madness, but we'll see. But yeah, without further ado, not really going to take up much more of your time. If you want to say anything, you know what to do. If you want to support me, you know what to do. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!